Anime Addicts, this podcast is brought to you by our lovely Anime Addicts community, keeping this podcast ad-free. If you want to help support the show, get all of our exclusive content, free access to the Discord, show notes, and of course that warm feeling you get inside when you do a good thing, you can go to our Patreon page, or you can go to our website, AAAPodcast.com/join. That'll get you to where you can support the show. You get all of our exclusive goodies. And again, you'll be helping out your favorite podcast. And now, it's time to start the show.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAAPodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Welcome. It's the 816th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. My name is Caroline, and once again, I am running the show today, but I think it's going to be a little bit more of a smooth ride than it has been before, because I spent hours yesterday just organizing myself. And with me today, my girlfriend, Emery. Hi, Emery.
Hey. It's just gonna be us cozy girls. Getting cozy. I'm so excited.
Day.
We have coffee.
And a cold day at that. How is it over there?
It's chilly, but it's starting to warm up.
Minnesota.
So I feel like it's gonna transition to you soon. I always feel like it whatever weather.
It's
here. Yeah.
I can attest. Oh God, that wind chill. It's like bringing it down to the negative teens. But yeah, it's just been fantastic. We have dedicated ourselves to not leaving the house, basically.
It's cozy.
Yeah. But welcome to our podcast where we make your anime addiction worse. You can join us live at twitch.tv/AAAPodcast every Sunday at 10 a.m. We're also on Twitter. We're on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and our lovely Discord, which you can join for free right now at AAADiscord.com. And you can join us for all sorts of fun stuff that we do every week, like Anime Club. That's every other Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Our next meeting is February 18th, which we'll be discussing Gleipnir. Have you heard of Gleipnir, Emery?
I haven't. No. What is it about?
Okay, so I haven't watched it myself. And, I have watched a little bit when it was coming out. I think it was in peak COVID times. From what I can remember, it's like a mecha, but one person is a mascot costume, and it's piloted by a woman inside the costume. So it's, from what I can remember, it's weird. So I'm not sure how this is going to go for Anime Club, but that is what we will be discussing. So feel free to join us for that. Yeah. And
it's a look.
It is sure a look. Today, we're talking about BL on the podcast today. Emery, would you like to explain where this inspiration came from?
Yes. So this all started rewinding with Andrew mentioning Heated Rivalry, and I said, okay, he's watching Heated Rivalry, and then my socials were just being blasted by just women of my demographic just loving Heated Rivalry. And then Caroline also was like, okay, I'll watch Heated Rivalry. Same similarity of I guess we'll just watch it finally.
And then you realize that it's one of the greatest love stories ever told.
Really, and we just wanted to take that idea and spin it and explore all of the boys love shipping that happens in anime, especially between shonen shows. Caroline pointed out sports anime. So we're going to dig into this topic just to better understand and maybe not break down, but just talk about the various ships out there that people love to contribute to.
Yes. And actually, we'll be talking in depth about Heated Rivalry in our Hobby Addicts episode, which we'll be recording after this. And hopefully Andrew can join us for that. I don't know if he has the time, but I know he would love to. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, Louis the Cat in the chat says, I watched it for the hockey, but there wasn't much. LOL. You're not wrong. it was
Maybe like 5 minutes of hockey.
If you can call hockey just skating around, yeah, 5 minutes maybe. Yeah, don't watch it for the hockey. And later on, we'll be having our final round of Winter Impressions, where we'll be discussing Frieren Season 2, Hanakimi, Shibo Yugi, In the Clear Moonlit Dusk, You and I Are Polar Opposites, and Love Through a Prism. We have quite a few romances to talk about today.
Yeah, it was very rom-com heavy for us.
I wonder why. Why could that be? It was rom-com heavy for me
who
and
can
you
say?
when we're doing an episode together. Yeah, they were all our picks, basically. And I think
Just
this
in
is
time
very
for
appropriate.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
is
that's
next Saturday, so this episode will be out in time, hopefully, for that. Right, so I believe we should head into big news of the week.
Oh, 大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, not so great news. Crunchyroll has announced that it has increased the prices for all of its subscription tiers in the US. The company increased the fan tier price from $7.99 to $9.99, the mega fan tier from $11.99 to $13.99, and the ultimate fan tier from $15.99 to $17.99 per month. The price changes will be reflected for existing paid members in the US on the next billing date after March 4th. The last time that they increased prices for the Mega and Ultimate tiers was in 2024, and the last time it changed for the regular fan tier was 2019. So it's been a while for the fan tier, but they literally just upped it for Mega and Ultimate tiers. If there's any good news here, the fan tier now allows users to download content for offline viewing on one device, but I say that's not enough for these changes. What do you think, Emery?
That's not enough. We currently have the Crunchyroll. That's not the ultimate package. It's whatever's slightly below that. So I don't think we get the manga that's associated. So the fact that they're just like, oh, you can now do on one device some offline viewing. I don't care. And you and I had to, I know you were asking about this because I think we're both on the annual payments. So we had to ask some fellow hosts, okay, when is this going to be reflected? And it sounds like for those who are on the annual payment, it'll be reflected in the next yearly bill, but it still sucks.
And it's still confusing to me because I'm not in an annual like fan tier or annual like mega fan tier. Like my subscription came before they moved into these fan tier systems. So I'm not actually, maybe I am fan tier, but I'm paying like an annual fee. Like maybe it's just different because it's annual. I don't know. It's just confusing for me personally. But regardless, I mean, not gonna lie, not having offline viewing for me occasionally gets really frustrating because if I am on a time crunch and I don't think I'll have Wi-Fi, it can be a little bit difficult, but it's not difficult and frequent enough for me to justify upping my payment just to get offline viewing for that once in a blue moon that I need it. So I'm glad I now have the option, but still, everything just gets more expensive and it's so annoying. I don't like it.
It is. And, you know, people wonder why pirating is coming back. But between these like prices going up and so many different streaming services, I know I sound like Mitz now. It's just, it gets to be too much. And so you can definitely see why people are starting to veer back into pirating now. Yeah. Not that we are. We just talked about the Crunchyroll price increases and when we'll see them, but
yeah. Well, that's that. Do you have any better news?
Okay. Have you ever seen RRR?
I haven't heard of it.
Okay. It's on Netflix. It's a Bollywood film by, oh man, Raggetty's gonna kill me for mispronouncing now even more names. The filmmaker is S.S. Rajmouli, and he is working on his next film. It is the most balls to the wall action movie I've ever seen. I love it. It's crazy. They fight tigers. The opening scene is one man dressed as a what I'll call like a policeman or a guardsman, and just launches himself into a mob and just fights people with a stick. It's just so good. It very much hits my peak shonen elements, and the reason why I say that is they are in the talks with a few studios in Japan to make it into an anime, and I am just so excited that RRR might get adapted into an anime. It is perfect. It is a perfect film for anime. It's pretty long. I want to say it's like 3 hours long, but there's a ton of action. I think it even won, it won an Oscar win for Best Original Song because it's of course it's Bollywood. You got to have a dance and music number in there. I'm really excited for this, and I highly recommend, if you haven't seen RRR, like, just if you need a film for your family, I feel like this is it. This is just a crazy, crazy film. It is in, I want to say Hindi, but you can get it dubbed if you need to.
Do you know if it's going to, like, if they're thinking to make it an anime movie or an anime series? Or do you think it would not work as a series?
I think they'll do a series. I think it's long enough, and you could tell more of the story by stretching it out without causing any issues. And I'm going to see if I can find a real quick synopsis of RRR just for those who haven't. It was a 2022 film. It was a fearless revolutionary and an officer in the British forces who once shared a deep bond decide to join forces and chart out on an inspirational path of freedom against the basically the British rulers. And it is so good. Okay, and I did get the language wrong. It's Telugu. I'm guessing one of the Indian languages, but it is fantastic, including how their friendship is made, which involves a motorcycle, saving a small child, and a bridge. So,
okay.
That's how friendships are made.
Now, I wonder how it would be pronounced in Japanese. Would be like aru, aru, aru.
Oh no, I didn't think about that. Lo, yeah. Ru, ru, ru.
Da, da, da.
Ra, ra, ra.
Arara. Arara. Da, 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 da.
Oh, man. I'm very excited. I do truly hope it happens. I know that they say they're in the talks, and the director really wants it. The director's actually a big fan of anime. He really likes Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan, and he also really enjoyed the animated series Arcane. So knowing those are favorites of his, I feel like we could get some really peak shonen out of this if it's done well.
All right, well, time will tell. Do you think we're ready for our main topic for today?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm kind of nervous because I don't know how much I can contribute here. I've never really delved that much into this topic. I mean, I have seen shows and I have seen some fandom ships in the course of my time with anime, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to follow your lead here.
And I'm gonna do my best because we'll just go into it, just like in Heated Rivals, where they no lube, they just spit in the hand and they go for it. And I had to make a really inappropriate joke, but that was by far the most horrifying moment for me.
Imagination filled it in, Emery.
But yes, okay. So, main topic. Heated rivalry. We're going to explore specifically like boy love and yaoi ships in anime. So we're not going to delve too deeply into yaoi or boy love genre in general. So think like, I'd argue like Banana Fish or Given or some of the other, more famous ones. The reason for that is I wanted to dig into the idea of like, specifically it's usually like women who identify as like heterosexual who like ship these boys, and why this is not just such an obsession in Japan. It's everywhere. Um, so real quick to break it down for those who don't know the topic, yaoi or boy love, BL. It's a Japanese media genre. It focuses on romantic or sexual relationships between male characters, primarily created by and for women. So these are usually published in a shoujo magazine. And originally, yaoi was an acronym for no climax, no point, no meaning. And so it was Yamanashi, Ochinashi, Iminashi.
I had
And
no idea.
neither did
I
I.
read this when I was looking over the notes. I'm like, really? That is so interesting.
I thought it stood for, I don't know, just either the made up genre. I didn't know it was an acronym. It's, yeah.
Yeah, I just
that
thought,
was really interesting.
I wonder if well, if yaoi is an acronym, I wonder if yuri is an acronym.
Ooh.
We should have I should have looked this up. I should have contributed
Here,
a little bit
you-
more. You know what? I'm going to look
you
it
go.
up and you talk more. But yeah, that
Yeah,
is pretty interesting. I just assumed
I
that
was
it was
gonna-
a Japanese word for something related to this.
If you can look that up, and then the fans of Yuri, because the fans of Yuri, from when I did do a little peek, are called like Princess Girls or like Princess Heart or something. It's a lot more soft. The fans of Yaoi or Boy Love are called Fujoshi or Fundashi, which means rotten girl or rotten boy. And it's because they are looking at these romances and rotting or like ruining themselves for a regular romance with a regular man or boy.
Well, following
And
that
so-
up, as you asked,
Yeah.
fans of Yuri anime. This is according to AI, to the AI overview of Google. So I don't know if this is accurate. It's often referred to as hime joshi, princess girls, or hime danshi, princess boys, for fans that are boys. Yeah. So there you go. Continue on.
Oh no, thank you. Yeah, so some like key things we'll talk about here, and this is where I could definitely use your help on any of the relationships you've seen shipped in either fan art or doujinshi or anything else. For example, one of the main ones that always comes to mind for me is Naruto and Sasuke. Man, does this audience love to ship those two boys together? Another famous pairing, while it's anime but not anime because it's a video game, Riku and Sora are another infamous pairing in the Kingdom Hearts world. People love to cosplay them, dress them up, put anime music videos to them a lot. Deku and Kachan, another really, really popular one. And I know you mentioned like you just see it a lot in sports anime where it's just like the boys are often paired off.
Maybe it's because sports anime rarely have female characters, so whenever somebody's watching a show and they're trying to look for some sort of romantic undertones, it's gonna have to be between the boys.
That's a very good point. And that actually so I wanted to dig into what is going on with this love of boys when it's women who are reading this or people who identify as women. And it's not everyone. Like I said, the fans can be considered either a rotten girl or boy. But what I was reading is a lot of men who identify as gay, specifically in Japan, don't often like yaoi or boy love because, one, the character's often way, way more feminized than what they'd like. And you can think about it as like, it's in the shoujo style, so they're all just very beautiful, and there's usually like one who's even more feminine looking who's considered the bottom, and the top might have like some masculine figures, but it's still like for the female gaze, so they're just beautiful instead of handsome.
It's kind of funny that we have two anime that we are going to be talking about that kind of leans into that trope.
That's another reason why I was so happy we did this topic, because for impressions we have
in the queer or in the moonlit dusk and Hanakimi.
Bingo.
Which, I mean,
bingo.
It's still a boy-girl relationship, but they don't know that. or
But
rather I don't know. That's Hanakimi's.
Yeah, Hanakimi we'll dig into a little. We could even dig into a little bit more, just because they also have. Excuse me, as I touch my mic, jazz hands. They also have like gay characters that are very flamboyant and maybe don't always feel like gay characters. Again, feels like female gays character,
I
like
feel
type
I
gay characters.
I think I only watched like a couple episodes of Hanakimi. I feel like I probably should have watched more in preparation for this discussion.
All good. All good. All good. It's mainly the main character who gets revealed as gay within the first episode. That's the one who I'm thinking of. Okay.
It's also been a while since I've watched it. Maybe I should just read a quick synopsis and I'll remember. But also just following up on a previous question that we had, I don't think Yuri is an acronym like Yaoi is. I think it's just supposed to mean Lily, which is, a symbolic thing for lesbianism in Japan, I guess.
I'm shocked. Why is that one not an
I
acronym?
don't know. I mean, the term originated from the 1970s when magazines contrasted the Rose tribe, Barazoku for gay men, with a Lily tribe, Yurizoku for lesbians, evolving into the genre name for stories focusing on women's relationships.
That explains why there's so much Lily. I feel like flowers are very big, right, in shoujo anime anyways, but in Yuri, I do feel like I see a lot of lilies, so now I wonder if it's truly a play on the word.
Yeah. But I wonder when yaoi became the term, if it coincided with Yuri becoming a term.
I bet it's two different paths. That's what my gut would say, is it's two.
I love word origins. We should just have a whole topic about this.
Oh, yeah. And then I can just mispronounce even more words for folks. Louis the cat in the chat is making me laugh. The way Sora reacted to reuniting with Riku is way more emotional than his reunion with Kairi, which is so true. If you played the games, it's kind of like a Kairi pat on the back, even though she's the main love interest. But Riku is, yeah.
Okay, according to Wikipedia, yaoi originated in the late 1970s, so about the same time as Yuri became a thing.
All right.
So weird.
Maybe Yuri inspired yaoi. So I can get into that even a little bit more later. Yeah. Some key reasons that I was able to suss out for the appeal of yaoi. And this was highlighted in various studies and discussions. So I delved into a few papers that people wrote about this, some YouTube's examples on this. So the first one was escape from misogyny and objectification. So by removing women from the romantic equation, yaoi allows a female viewer to enjoy the subject, to enjoy the story without being subjected to sexualization of female characters. It's something that I feel both Caroline and I complain about a lot of. A peak example for me is for My Hero Academia. You see the hero costumes for the men, and it's comfortable, versatile, makes sense. And then you see Midnight's outfit, and they sort of hand wave it away with what her power is, but it is very sexualized, and it is very
And we're not even talking about Momo yet. Geez.
Gosh, Momo, Froppy just at one point is just and her power is the power of a frog, and she just has her outfit is clinging to her butt. And so
in most times I don't really see a problem with her outfit, but then they do a close up of her butt and I'm like, I don't need to see that right now.
Right. That's it more than anything.
Yeah, so I think it does take off some we're far enough removed from what's happening in the show that we can just enjoy it.
Exactly. Yes. And so it's taking away that sexualization. It's taking away, for women who are reading it, the pressure to compare their own bodies, especially to unrealistic standards where in, anime and manga, their waists are this thin and their boobs are Nico Robin size. It's just, I think it allows for them to disassociate from that. And the main one that I want to touch on is the patriarchal power dynamics, and I'm putting that in quotes. I'm not trying to I feel like we're gonna have to get into some of the politics of Japan and like how they are very patriarchal and things like that. But what I'm trying to get at is it's not like a man saving a woman. It's not like the woman is the subordinate and the man is her boss, or the woman is poor and the man is rich. It's just two men usually functioning in the same environment, like playing hockey or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, for that, like, do you feel, again, I think it's hard because you and I aren't necessarily the audience that reads boy love, or we don't seek
No.
it out. But I do actually kind of get that. And when I read that, I sat down and like rewatched a few scenes from Heated Rivalry, and especially specifically the final episode. And it's like, oh, I could kind of see how like women relate to it because it's like two people playing the same sport, two people at the same level of that sport, and it allowed for like you to enjoy that like wholesome relationship versus being like, oh, okay, like there's some uncomfortable power dynamics in the way of 50 Shades of Grey, for example.
Yeah.
Like that's an uncomfortable power dynamic between a woman and a man.
I agree.
So yeah, there's that. I kind of already hit on it with the alternative power dynamics. It's looking for more, equality between the two, breaking away from that savior hero complex that's often found. I did giggle because they do refer to like power bottoms a lot in this, and I don't know, I'm just a child. Sometimes I have to giggle at things. So, power bottoms of like the relationship. So in the sense that like even though the person might be considered the bottom, they're the ones who are calling the shots in the relationship. For Boy Love and Yaoi, they talk about emotional depth and vulnerability. This one I went back and forth on including because I feel like sometimes romance like anime gets into this. I think that there's sometimes they go into the vulnerability. Maybe it's because it's the vulnerability in romance anime that's specifically between a man and a woman involves more of the woman being vulnerable and less of the man being vulnerable. Like he still has to be, gruff and tough. And maybe this allows for more of an openness that women are looking for in men because the two men have to open up to each other.
And everybody loves that.
Everyone loves an open man or
I know.
or an emotional man.
That was like one of the best parts of Heated Rivalry, and we'll get to that, I know. But when Ilya becomes like baby girl, it's just, that's when you know you're in. You're in it.
I'm coming to the cottage. For those who know, you know. We'll talk about it. This is why you guys need to get hobby addicts. You guys, we're gonna gush about it. Him and his ridiculous Russian accent. Ridiculously good. I did a lot of digging into that. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know how one does that. How does one learn a whole monologue in Russian without knowing a lick of it?
Which is so funny because we've also complained on the show when anime digs into either another language, I mean specifically English. Sometimes it can be real rough to hear them talk about that. I think we talked about A Sign of Affection relating to this topic, and that's what came to mind is when he's using other languages, and it's like, oh, this sounds rough. This does not sound like you are fluent in a language.
Yeah, totally. So the fact that they got somebody from Texas does not know any Russian, does a Russian accent throughout the whole show, and several scenes in full Russian, it's just insane to me. But now we're getting off topic.
We are. Female gaze. And this is what I talked about of like, this is produced often by women for women. And so you're going to see a beautiful man. And I've talked about this on the podcast before. What men think women want is it's not that we don't want a Chris Hemsworth like Thor in our life. It's just more of the Loki can be more appealing to a woman.
Yeah.
And
when you have when you have shows that oftentimes kind of pair both of those types together, it's the perfect storm.
Exactly. You know what? That's a very good point. And I think that's what leads to talking about another one that gets shipped, I feel, pretty often. I feel like the berserk couple, Guts and
Oh
my
man, I
god,
know his name.
yep, it's there.
What's his name? One
somebody
second.
in the chat help us. Help us. Guts and well,
Griffith.
it'll come. Griffith, thank you.
I had to do
Like
some
they're
quick
a
Googling.
good like that's a good combo there of like I could see people oftentimes shipping those two together because there's like there's brotherhood but bonding, but also like there's like a love there that you could delve into a little bit more and explore.
But we're not going to go over some of the crimes against humanity that one of them does.
Yeah.
We're just gonna
Go
forget
on,
that.
Drugs fan gave it to us late,
So
but
cute.
thank you.
Ah!
Google was faster. Okay, so yes, you're going to see more of the Loki types where it's less focused on muscles and toughness and brawn. You're going to see more of cleverness and mystery and long hair over an eye, sort of like, ooh, what's he about? Ooh, can I
Mhm.
fix him? And so I feel
Yeah.
like with Yaoi, it's in that same vein of like, ooh, maybe this boy who looks a little more girlish in the Hani Kimi, like just cut off the hair and suddenly it looks like a boy. Um, maybe that'll fix him. And I think that's more appealing to women than it is to like men who are seeking out a romance story.
Mm.
Let's see here. Yeah, some of these I kind of wanted to both dig into and maybe have a disagreement with. Safe exploration of sexuality. So Yaoi does act as a safe space for both women and men and non-binary to explore themes of sexuality and desire from a distance. And what I mean by that is they're able to read it, they're able to watch it and explore this without needing to go into the world. And the only thing that I get nervous about saying of exploring, sexuality is sometimes for some reason, Yaoi and Boy Love likes to depict non-consent or reluctant. And
It's
I've
like,
heard that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I
And
mean,
I've heard that often with that genre.
that being said, like there also is quite a few heterosexual romances that also have tropes that would definitely not be cool in real life. But
You don't
for
want a
some
man
reason,
to crawl into your bed while you're sick and just like cuddle you.
okay,
What-
we'll get to that. We are totally going to get to that. But it's like personality traits that might seem super attractive in a show when it would be just like a walking red flag in real life. So definitely prevalent in all sorts of romance media, but Yaoi seems to really like it too.
Yeah. So that's why I like the safe space. Maybe it allows for people who are interested in that fetish to explore it because it is a fetish, and some people utilize that fetish to get over trauma that they faced in either a, non-consensual or reluctant situation, and that allows them to gain control back. And I don't want to take that away from them because I go back and forth on this. I think manga that depicts this or like doujin that depicts this, it can be healing and can help people move through it and gain that control back. And then I worry that it might be digging them further into a kink that could lead to harm later on. And for women who are reading this, that's going to be trickier to do because it's two men who are doing the act to each other versus, a woman and a woman or a woman and a man. But I think that's where like there's a line and I still don't know where it is because humans are just so gray matter. There's just so much there to it. That said, I think I like that Yaoi and Boy Love does exist because it is depicting relationships that are maybe not very real, but that exist in real life. Like that, like, gay people exist in real life and they should be allowed to have their stories. Like I said, though, I do know a lot of gay gay authors, like gay mangaka, have discouraged yaoi or don't like it because they feel it's not depicting them in a proper way. And I wonder too if they have a problem with some of the non-consensual or reluctant scenes that are depicted in yaoi.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it gets a little fetish-sized, in my opinion. But unfortunately, I'm just one of millions and millions and millions of people of different opinions. So people kind of owe it to themselves to figure out what makes them comfortable and uncomfortable. And if it makes them uncomfortable, then it's probably best just to keep your distance from it and leave it at that.
Like if this isn't your cup of tea, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But we do think it's important to talk about because, for example, this couple I want to bring up, I feel like it got depicted very heavily in the anime and manga, and I'm just giggling about it because I talked a little bit with Raggedy about this relationship, and he sent videos and things that I should have sent you, Caroline. But Gojo and Geto from Jujutsu Kaisen, I was like, oh, they seem like that they're like hitting on that trope, like the ha ha ha, are they, aren't they? And I guess trying to do this without spoilers, at one point, Gojo is questioning whether he's seeing Geto or if he's seeing somebody else, and he's like, in my soul I know it's him or I know it's not him. Like he like in his soul feels it, and there's a whole scene of them on a tandem bike together.
But my heart doesn't, kind of thing.
You got it. That's the the scene then. Yes, exactly. And so it's just like, well, it makes you question like, wait, are you implying they might have been a couple or not? Like that one was so on the line versus like Naruto Sasuke. We knew that Sakura was going to get involved in that like I say love triangle, but we knew they weren't going to truly lean into that.
I honestly don't think they were really all that. I don't know if they really went towards the line as much as Gojo and Geto. I think it's one of those things where we kind of just implemented it because Naruto is just so hilariously obsessed with Sasuke for unknown reasons, because Sasuke's a trash being. Sorry, Sasuke fans. But yeah, I do think that's really just a figment of the Fujoshi's imagination.
Yeah. I'm just giggling because I also am not a Sasuke fan. I think
honestly, I shouldn't have even said that. Sasuke fans are so low in the percentage here.
They're just those who like Sasuke. It's like, okay, I guess you like a brooding emo kid who doesn't want friends and who's kind of a terrible dad.
Actually, I think Sasuke might even be a better dad than Naruto.
Oh, 100%. Like, just, we're talking bad dads in general, I think. But you're right. I feel like the thing that Naruto did that I'm trying to wrap my head around, that I'm sure, again, Fujoshi fans loved, is like the kiss in the beginning. If you remember when Naruto's leaning into Sasuke and they're like grumbling and glaring because they're rivals, they're heated rivals, and then they kiss. And see what I did there, bud? So I feel like Shonen especially loves to play that up, and I don't know if it's because then they're building up their audience. Like Deku and Bakuga, I feel like, is another one where that one got played up where you could see friendship, but I can see why the boy love genre got so heavily like inundated with fan art of those two.
Right.
Another one that I didn't think about until later was Ellen Light. That one, like the cat and mouse game that they played. And again, it's not that these authors aren't putting women that are supposed to be the love interests in these mangas. It's more of, how do I say, they're just not there. Just on the sidelines.
Well, I mean, in this case, Elle and Light don't have a single romantic bone in their bodies. They are definitely not at all thinking in that way to anyone. But it's just the cat and mouse situation that they are kind of longing for each other in a way that lends itself to this fan shipping.
Yeah, I think that you just actually strummed up in the reverse course. I know similarly, a lot of women really love Killing Eve for instead of it being, the yaoi, it's the Yuri side of it. Um, and they love the show Killing Eve for, again, that cat and mouse. Like, oh my gosh, who's going to get who first? And like, it heats it up, I guess, a little bit there. I'm trying to think of other couples we can talk about.
Well, actually, I decided to put, like, last minute, I found a list of ships. And what we are going to do is we're going to go through some of them and say to ship or not to ship, in our opinion.
Yes. Oh my God, I love this. I love this idea.
Okay. Well, because we know that My Hero Academia has a ton of ships. So let's start off with Bakugo and Deku. Do you ship?
I think I do ship. I think I do. The only thing I get a little nervous about is, and we're gonna actually do a deep dive into My Hero Academia, is everyone forgets they're like 16, and I feel like that always is weird to ship teenagers. But I'm gonna just put that aside, put that hat aside. At least it's two teenagers together. But I ship them. Do you ship them?
It's hard to say because Bakugo is like clinically insane for 75% of the show. Now, that being said, when he has moments of clarity and acting like a normal person, especially towards the end, I'm like, damn it, I love Bakugo. But I don't know enough to like take over my ship of Deku and Ochako.
Oh, see, and I'm a Bakuga and Ochaku fan. That's
what?
really, really funny. Yeah, no, I love
that
those
one fight in the tournament.
The one fight.
Oh my God, I cannot believe that was that was so influential on your heart there.
Because you like saw her as like a rival or like as a person. That was so important. Okay. The next
another very simple ask. Sato Sugu, as what they say. Gojo and Geto, Jujutsu Kaisen. Do you ship?
Oh, 100%.
Me too.
100%.
Me too.
Yep.
And again, I am just going to ignore the developments for Geto, but during the was it Hidden Inventory arc? I loved them.
Yes.
I loved their friendship, and if they had the balls to move it forward, then it would be nice. Okay, this is something that will be near and dear to your heart. Zoro and Sanji from One Piece.
See, okay, here's the thing. I don't necessarily ship them. I wanted to propose this couple, and Raggedy was highly against it. He actually put together, I swear, a dissertation because I had reached out to him to be like, oh, is there anyone from, like who do you think? And he was like, absolutely not for One Piece. Oda is highly against romancing any of his characters.
But Oda's not in charge here. It's the fans who are in charge of the fan ships.
I don't ship them. I will say I don't ship them. I love them as, how do I say, I like them as truly heated rivals, like without the shipping. I just want them to bicker with one another. Mm-hmm. That's fun for me. They're a fun bickering. They level each other out.
Okay. We've already talked about Sasuke and Naruto. We're not going to get into that. Have you seen Haikyuu? All right. Kagehina, Kageyama and Hinata from Haikyuu. I don't know.
I don't know. I know it's a very popular ship and people love to pair them together, but that one feels not like rivalry. That one feels like friendship. Genuinely captured friendship.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I don't ship. So far we agree on one shipping. I love it.
We already kind of talked about My Hero, but Deku, Todoroki and Midoriya. Nope. No, me neither.
No. Todo is asexual to me. He just no lights are on for that one. I don't know why.
I agree.
Okay.
I love these shipping names. They're kind of hard to say though. Eruri, Erwin and Levi from Attack on Titan.
Ooh.
There's the connection is there.
Yes.
But again, they do not, if There's just no room for their relationship.
I have a
in that
different
show.
I have a different Attack on Titan
Oh,
ship. Yeah. I think it's oh my gosh, Armin and Aaron. That's who I'd ship, I
yeah,
think.
they would probably have a better ship than this one. I
Yeah,
think.
but they're not rivals, like they don't really fight each other, but that would be the ship
they don't
I'd
need to
aim
be
for.
rivals.
That's true. I just think it's like a popular trope is to make sure that their rivals are like going after the same dream.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have to follow those rules.
No, I'm trying to look for more. A lot of these are kind of like actual ships. Thank you, Gemini, for giving me things I don't need. Itadori and Fushiguro from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Really?
Yeah.
Itadori, I actually really like Itadori talking about like the lady he likes, like he likes a strong, tall lady with a good butt, I think was his thing. And for some reason that like truly feels like he's being honest with both himself and with Todo. Same with Todo. Itadori and Todo. No, my brother, like they are truly brothers. Like I wouldn't ship them. I like those two just as buddies.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'm trying to think.
I mean, I could Google more, but it's just gonna take more time, and honestly, I don't think it's worth. I think we've gotten our general ideas out there.
Yeah. I think the key is, I think the peak one is Gojo and Geto. I feel like that one
Me
is my
too.
like gold standard for if you want to really drive the genre, or if you want me to like side with the shipping, give them like put in some female characters, but clearly don't show any sort of not attraction, but like the Star Vessel. Like they don't really, they're friends with her, but I never really got romantic interest in her from either of them, whereas
Mhm.
their connection was truly more fleshed out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's important.
And they have longevity because it takes place over years. So,
Very true. Very true.
all right.
Um,
Any other thoughts on our topic today?
No, thank you for letting me delve into this. If others want us to, I guess, flip the script and look at the Yuri side of things, we certainly can. This was very interesting for me because this is such a phenomenon right now, and it's been a phenomenon for a while. Like you said, Caroline, this has been going on since the 1970s. I read a paper about a person who said Yaoi allowed her to come out as a lesbian in Japan, which I was like, oh, that's a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know that Andrew wanted to be part of this topic, so who knows? Maybe he'll come back and he'll want to dig deeper into it, and he'll have other thoughts. My final thing is, as a classic like shipping pair, Vegeta and Goku. I know you haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, but that's another classic. People like to pair those two together, especially because they do a fusion dance and actually fuse together at one point.
Well, thank you for taking lead on this topic today. Hopefully that was interesting for everybody else. And now I believe it's time for our trivia question here, Emery. Would you take us out?
Oh, yeah, I certainly can. All right, in You and I Are Polar Opposites, what is the name of Tani's cat? Find out after the break.
All right, will do. And here we go into our news break. Hey guys, it's Caroline, and we are ready for your anime news break. First up is some Violet Evergarden news. The series is starting its first live concert tour in the United States. The concert will feature Evan Call's beautiful arrangements, as well as original vocalists from the anime. Violet Evergarden Live in Concert will travel to Music Hall at Fair Park in Dallas, Texas on February 13th, Peacock Theater in Hollywood, California on February 15th, and Madison Square Garden in New York on February 18th, all at 8 p.m. local time. It's practically showtime already, so I'm not sure why I'm just now hearing about this, but tickets are still available online if you're interested in going. Next up in the news today, the staff for the anime of Shu Sakuratani's Rooster Fighter manga revealed the anime's second key visual and an April 5th debut date in Japan. However, the anime will first debut on Adult Swim's Toonami programming block on March 14th at 12 a.m. EDT, basically March 15th. The anime will also get an English dub. If you're unfamiliar with Rooster Fighter, the story follows Keiji, who is more than just an ordinary rooster. He is humanity's greatest defender. I've heard some hype about Rooster Fighter, and if this has piqued your interest, the spring season will soon be here. Unfortunately, what will not be here soon is the anime adaptation of Satsuki Nakamura's Though I Am an Inept Villainous light novel series. While it was initially announced to premiere in April, it has been pushed back to July due to production delays. Hopefully this doesn't mean an overall poor adaptation for fans of the series. If you haven't heard of this light novel series before, the story is set in a kingdom inspired by historical China, where 5 clans put forth their maidens as imperial consorts, but only one will be crowned empress. The frail and beautiful Ko-Reiren is a shoo-in to marry the crown prince. But when a jealous rival lashes out at her, it's Reiren who wakes up in the dungeons. Body swapped by her assailant to steal her position at court, Reiren's plight seems dire to everyone else. Now that she's got a robust new body, not even the looming threat of execution can stop her. Now, we all know that villainous shows are my bread and butter, but we will have to wait and see if this ends up on the impressions list next summer. In other news, we got an announcement that another long-running, iconic manga is coming to an end, but first, a hiatus. Manga creator Kazue Kato has announced that her Blue Exorcist manga is going on hiatus beginning in the April issue of Shueisha's Jump SQ. She explained that she needs to prepare as the manga heads towards its final chapter to make changes to her work environment and also to prepare for the manga's upcoming compiled book volumes. The manga will resume in the August issue of Jump SQ. And finally, some not-so-great news. Crunchyroll has announced that it will increase the prices for all of its subscription tiers in the US. The company increased the fan tier price from $7.99 to $9.99, the mega fan tier price from $11.99 to $13.99, and the ultimate fan tier from $15.99 to $17.99 per month. The price changes will be reflected for existing paid subscriptions in the US on the next billing date after March 4th. The last time that they had increased subscription prices, it was back in 2024 for the Mega and Ultimate tiers, while the regular fan tier has stayed the same since 2019. Now, if there's any good news, it's that the fan tier now allows users to download content for offline viewing on one device, but let's be honest, this news just sucks. I know we kind of ended things on a low note there, but we are headed back to our main show for our finale of Winter Impressions.
In a world full of misinformation, AI deepfakes, and make-believe BS.
We thought you'd appreciate an update straight from the source.
Sure, times are tough, but there's hope.
Shonen Showdown is still standing, and our mission remains the same.
To rot your brain with the power of friendship.
The anime landscape is changing by the day, but we'll keep adapting.
And we appreciate your loyalty.
So keep listening and keep the faith.
Good things come to those who wait.
Only Shonen Showdown.
On the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast.
and you and I are polar opposites. What is the name of Tani's cat? And the name is Tempura.
Cute.
Cute little kitty cat. I just love playing that song, so I've kind of let it drone out a little longer, but... All right, I think we are coming to the grand finale here, Impressions, the last one of the season. Emery, would you like to explain how impressions work?
Yeah. Oh boy. So this is our impressions for the winter 2026 seasons. What we do is we review, oh man, so many shows. So I believe, did we review like 50? More than that. So there were 60 new shows this season. Then we reviewed, not 9, we'll review a bunch of them today. I'm trying to remember how many we reviewed.
Each host gets 2 or 3 of their picks from their list.
Yes.
So
and
it's
that's
like
too much math for me today.
Over the course of 3 episodes, we did 21 impressions, it looks like.
And there are no sequels. That's the main thing that I do want to hit on. So past season 2. So we are not doing an impression on Oshinoko, Jujutsu Kaisen, Beastars. However, some of these shows are very popular that I think we're going to be doing separate episodes talking about them. For example, Caroline and I did a breakdown with Detective Otaku, on the call-in games for Jujutsu Kaisen, just going over the rules. I think we could expect to see more of that. Same with Oshinoko. I think we are expecting to see a review of that just because it is such a popular show. I know Caroline and Mason did something similar for the end of Attack on Titan. So I don't want you to think that we are ignoring them. It's just they won't be part of our impressions because honestly, we would probably just pass them immediately and we'd miss out on some of these new ones. There's also no movies. So I see here like All You Need Is Kill. I have not heard of that one, but I'm guessing it was a movie for the winter of this year.
Yeah, I'm not familiar, but you know, we have so many things to talk about in every season that it's always good to give more emphasis on the new stuff.
Yeah, and Caroline did the math for me. So we had 21 impressions over 3 episodes, and so far there have been 4 passes. We'll get 2 more today for a total of 6 passes, and then the final 3 we give to you, our wonderful and lovely listeners.
Oh, I forgot to download the impressions drop. Impression time, believe it! I totally forgot. Oh, well. And I would like to take credit for doing the math for you, but actually that was there already, so I'm going to guess they did that last week.
That's lovely.
All right, past so far. Sentenced to be a Hero, Fate's Strange Fake, Jack of All Trades, Party of None, and Journal with Witch. I really only know of 2 of those shows, so I wonder what the rest of them are going to be like. Right, today, I believe we should start off with the heavy hitter, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, Season 2. And that was on your list, Emery.
Ooh, yes, it was. I am a big fan of Frieren. I love it. It hits the nostalgia factor for me. The music is gorgeous. The art is beautiful and well designed. And if you are unaware of Frieren, have been living under a rock, it is about our merry band, Frieren. I want to call him Stark, but they call him Stark and Fern. And they are on their journey north, and they experience the highs and lows of battle while reliving the past, whether it's their own past or if we are getting a glimpse into Frieren's past. Because they are not the first heroes to necessarily make this journey north. And so, yeah, I think I'm saying it all right now. I really love the show. This is, I wouldn't call it a comfort show, but it is something I look forward to each week.
I think it's kind of comforting. I did watch season 1. We did the review on it. The thing is for me is that I did not watch it week to week. I think I watched maybe a couple episodes here and there, but for the most part, it was a binge watch, and a binge watch that I had to do for the review. which might have lessened my opinion of it a little bit. I still enjoyed it. It just the way I was watching it was not necessarily the way to watch it. Because here I was watching an episode here and there to get to this impressions. I watched like maybe 3-4 episodes. And I was like, yeah, this show is a vibe. It's really relaxing. I'm still not really... Okay, so one of my main gripes about Freerun was the fact that 2 of our 3 main characters, Freerun and Fern, are very similar in personality. And the way they talk and their easygoingness and kind of bland, one might say. I think I would get raked over the coals for saying bland, but that's really how it felt to me a lot of the time, especially when it was just the 2 of them. Thankfully, Stark appeared and broke it up a little bit. So yeah, it's still kind of a thing, and Fern is still a very much tsundere, but I don't know, it's getting a little sweet with Fern and Stark.
Yeah, I think it's funny that the rest of these that we're going to talk about kind of deal more in the romance. Well, okay, except for one. So all but one of these explore a romance genre, and even Freyrin is starting to like explore that. To your point, my biggest complaint between Fern and Freyrin is they both have childish mannerisms that I don't want to say makes it difficult to get over. It's more of Fern's childish mannerisms make sense because it's very tsundere and that's fine. And she's of an age that makes sense. It's Freerun at times where I just get frustrated with our little elf for things like not wanting to wake up in the morning. It's like, well, you are how old now? How old are you that you are such a child when it comes to this?
Though she's not too bad so far in this season with that kind of stuff.
True. Very, very true. Because Caroline had a little knit, my little knit, and it's something that I just can't unsee. Shadows, for some reason, the animation style, and it's a choice they've made, they still give everyone shadows. It just doesn't work like how light works all the time. And I don't know why that bothers me so much, but it's just something every so often I'll look down to see if they've animated the shadows while they're walking through a town, and they have not. And I need to get over it. I truly think it's not a miss. It's just a choice on their part. That said, the action is still really amazing, and they lean heavily into it, I feel, in season 2, whereas in season 1, you kind of had to build to some of those shonen episodes. It's only 10 episodes. That said,
That's weird.
Yeah, it's only going to be 10 episodes. I am struggling to pass this, and it is not because it is not amazing. I think it is worthy of the score it has on Mal. I am one that stands with Freerun. I really, really love it. It is because there's a show on here that I kind of would be interested in us exploring, and this might come back around for a listener. I kind of want to pull a 5D chess move on this one and hope it comes around for a listener.
Kill us.
I know, and I don't want them to think we don't love it. It's just I kind of want to play 5D chess and roll the dice on this.
Yeah, I mean, and Freerun is great. I'm not sure if there's going to be a massive plot point that we would really, we would have to dig into. And the thing is that, as you say, playing 5D chess, it's because we have listener choice, and most likely this will get picked for that. It's also weird, 10 episodes. I'm not sure if that means, they're wrapping it up so a bigger plot point can come in late, in a separate season, and they would have more time to focus on it, or maybe a movie. I don't know. Yeah. But, I mean, it is good. We're not saying it's not. It's just it's probably not really going to be much different from season 1 in terms of its benefits.
Right. And we've already reviewed season 1, and I think that's part of my hesitation here.
Yeah, I can see that. So basically what we're saying is watch Freerun, give it a chance. If it's not for you within the first 3 episodes of season 1, it's probably not going to be the thing for you in season 2. But yeah, I mean, it's good so far. I'm certainly going to continue watching it.
Me too.
All right, there we go.
It is a travesty.
I think that wraps that up quite nicely.
It does. So,
all right, next up, Hanakimi. Emery, what is this show about?
I picked this because I remember reading the first volume of this, and it is about. Sorry, I put some snarky things in here. A girl cuts her hair and goes to a all-boys school in Japan to cheer on her crush in high jump, is what I wrote. And I don't think I'm far off. So she is a girl who has to pretend to be a boy to fit into her all-boys school. Shenanigans ensue. It kind of actually relates a little bit to our discussion earlier, because even though she is a girl, she's pretending to be a boy, and it creates complicated feelings for some of the boys who suddenly kind of like her, maybe. And also she also fails to fool a number of them, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, because really this whole idea is just so dumb. Not dumb. It's more like this was never going to work out, because this is basically She's the Man, except she is not that smart and not really doing it for reasons that are understandable.
And I need to go back and review, because she's supposedly super fast. She's super amazing at track. And I want to see that version of She's the Man, of her actually doing the track. But truly, she's there to be like, I want to see him jump. It's like that. I don't care. That what is that?
Yeah, and I just want to review some of the things that I've told you about the show while I was watching it, because in leading up to this whole Impressions episode, I'm just messaging Emery over Discord as I'm watching some of these shows.
So good.
Maybe taking away a little bit of our actual discussion today, but I just could not help myself. Okay, so I said, have you started Hanakimi? This is the most Delulu girl ever, and why is every scene so uncomfortable? Also,
That's what I should have just snapped that and put that into the summary, because it's so true. She's so delusional. No one's gonna recognize that I'm a girl. Immediately, 2 characters in episode 1 are like, oh, it's a girl. Without fail.
and actually, I'm just going to use these as my note. Sometimes I do take notes for impressions, but these really act as my notes. I've already written them to you. Why is dinner such a constant concern? Literally in 2 scenes every episode, they're going to be like, well, you better get to the dining hall. Dinner will be gone. And oh, time for dinner. And are you heading to the dining hall for dinner? And maybe it's just because they're supposed to be boys and you don't know if dinner's gonna be there when you get there, because they're just constantly eating because they're teenage boys. But it's just so strange to me. Also,
My God.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just, for those who don't know, I'm muting because I'm laughing so hard, because getting
Don't
these,
mute the laughter.
I'm
I
just
like it.
reliving this moment.
I subsequently said, and why is he sleeping all the time?
Constantly.
What's his name?
Constantly sleeping.
I don't know what his name is.
Who cares?
yeah.
Bland character with black hair who jumps high
Oh
sometimes.
yeah, Sano Izumi is just sleeping all
That's
the
right,
time
Sano.
under trees, just for some reason, in random places. Does he have insomnia? Can he not sleep at night? I wonder. Okay, you said, quote unquote, I flew to Japan to be at this all boys school because of this high jumper. Cool. Do you want to do athletics? No, even though I'm really great at them, I'm really just here for this boy. And then I quoted her saying, what can I even claim to know about Sano Izumi? She doesn't know him. She is his groupie. She flew across the world to stalk him, become his roommate at this school to see him high jump, but he doesn't do it anymore because he doesn't like it. And then the doctor. The doctor.
Oh, the
wow.
doctor.
He's a creep. And as I'm watching, I'm like, God, he's such a creep. And you said, just wait. There will be a development that might make it a little bit better or something. And the development is that he's gay. But that doesn't make it any better because he's still
that did not make it any better.
guy.
Because your concern, episode 1 was, oh my God, is she going to need to like not sleep with him, but is he like trying to seduce her? And I was like, oh no, he isn't. He gay.
No,
it's
because
fine.
in the opening, he's kind of with the other boys of this show as if it's going to be like a reverse harem of some sort. And
Yeah, the opening is deceiving.
do tell.
Oh, just that. Like, that particular moment. I felt like the opening did display him as like he was going to be the older harem choice for her of like, oh, do you want her to get with her nurse, the male nurse? And which you and I would be like, no, absolutely not. That's weird and creepy. Then turns out he's gay. Like that just, to your point, I didn't think that was the way to show him in the opening.
Yeah. And also coming back to my notes through Discord Messenger, I did really like Nakatsu, the friend, and his sexual crisis, because he really, really likes this girl pretending to be a boy, but he believes that he's a boy, and yet he just can't help himself and think like, God, he's cute, and he's like going crazy over it.
That one is fun. That's similar in the vein I felt like as Mulan or like others where it's like, oh, am I gay? And it's like, you know what? I'm okay with them asking these questions.
Yeah. Yeah. So there are some very entertaining parts of this. Is it like it's an older shoujo, right?
Yeah, it's much older. I think Andrew told us that it was also a live action and a very popular live action. How many episodes is this one going to be, though? I think when I checked, it was... Here, I've got it up here. Oh, do they not know yet? Oh, they might not know yet how long it's going to be.
That's weird.
But it is not working for me, is what I will say. So this one is a very easy fail for me.
Yeah, so the manga began in 1996, ended in 2004. So, I mean, there are definitely some things that kind of point to it being an older shoujo. And so it's interesting in that way. And it is fun to make fun of. It's one of those things where I'm, the whole, like all of my notes to you.
If I keep watching it, it is going to be just to message Caroline to be like, oh my God, he finally jumped. What a concept.
Should we just watch it for that reason?
We should, but I don't think we want to I don't think we need to review it. We could even do like an after party and review it together then.
Yeah, I agree with that. So with that, here we go.
Boo! 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 Boo!
Fail. Funny enough, as I play that drop, I only just now watched The Princess Bride, like 2 days ago.
What?
Yeah, I've never seen it before. And we had a movie night.
Did you love it?
It was good. It was definitely good. I definitely called a couple things. Like, I knew some developments of this movie. But it was funny to finally get knowledge of the references that we keep on referencing on this podcast in particular. Knowledge!
I love The Princess Bride. What a classic. I'm so glad you got to watch.
Yeah. All right, next up, another one of your picks, Shibo Yugi playing death games to put food on the table.
I wrote that the title says it all. I don't know if you disagree. No. But I feel like that's the plot. Yeah, I think the only thing I'd add is our main character, Yuki, is doing it so that she can eventually clear 99 games. But when she starts it, when she first starts this, it's very clear that that's how she makes money. She's very good at the death games. This was an interesting one. A very different art style than what I'm used
Definitely. I mean, I think it's supposed to play on some light novel aesthetics. Though it is weird sometimes because it when it goes into like an establishing shot or like a group shot of the girls playing these games in this environment, it very simplistic looking, like no facial expressions, just like kind of they're outlined in color. And at first I'm like, okay, that looks cool. But then they kept on doing it. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't really look good enough to warrant them doing it over and over again, you know?
I guess I didn't mind it over and over again. I think it was the pacing. It was like they would return to it, but they would hover on it for a very, very long time. And I wanted to keep going with the plot instead of having the zoomed out image.
Yeah.
Um,
And then just to continue more with the art style, my God, I have not seen eyes like this ugly in a very long time. I could not stand these eyes because they're extremely, like, there's no line work within the eyes. They're just like marbles. And these insane color choices. There's no outline to the iris or the pupil or anything. And then you got Yuki, who has two different eye colors for some reason. Not in real life, but in the games, she has two different eye colors.
And I hope they explain that because it was bothering me. And that tells you that, no, I'll continue this, I think. Just because I want to know some of the mystery elements. But I did struggle with the eyes. That was a big struggle. And I struggled sometimes with it's episodic and I needed a little bit more of a thorough line in the beginning.
How far did you go?
I mean, I think I'm up to the recent episode I haven't watched. So I did watch a number of these.
I think I watched the first 3 episodes because the first episode is double length. Wasn't it like 50 minutes or something like that? But that was good to like, long. Because they wanted to do like a full round of whatever game they're playing without having to shorten it, which I kind of like. I thought it was a really interesting first episode, I will say.
Yes, that first episode was interesting. The opening, I will say, didn't really do it for me.
Like
it was because when it opened, I was like, oh, it's because it's the 50-minute episode, whatever. Like they're just kind of setting the mood. It wasn't even the tone because the tone wasn't captured in that. And then they kept using that same opening. And I thought that was an incorrect choice, to be honest.
Because when you're watching it, it doesn't seem like an anime opening. It seems like a very like vague part of the show that you're not getting any information, but you're kind of, it's almost like they're teasing something that you'll eventually see later or understand later, but you don't because it's the opening. It's just her running down a road or something.
Yeah. And there's cars. A lot of cars.
And the music doesn't really seem like it's an opening, but then they use it in the second episode and the third episode. I'm like, this is skippable.
It is very skippable.
So, yeah, I think the main thing about this is the eyes for me. It's just so bothersome to look at. Especially because they do so many close-ups of them. But if you're just looking for kind of a bloody or brutal type of show, this isn't bad. It's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah. I will say I love that you had to clarify because there's a part of the death game where they address the blood issue. And I don't think it's giving anything away, but you won't actually see any blood. It's more of you have to use your imagination because the way their bodies are made up going into the game, they essentially get injected with some sort of drug that turns them into fluff.
Kind of like dolls.
Which is another interesting, into dolls essentially, which is also interesting. And it's not that they don't lose their lives. People die in these, like they are just dead. But
and the twist at the end of the first episode was pretty good.
It is very good, I feel like, with the amount of twists and the diverse personalities and characters. I did really like that. But I still have to fail this one. I kind of hope it comes back. I think this one would be actually a very interesting review discussion, but there's not enough meat on the table. There's not enough death game on the table
I
to
agree
put
to that.
food in my belly. A very poor metaphor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still interested in this as well. It's just the eyes. No, it's not just the eyes. It's just not enough yet. But who knows? Maybe it will make a comeback. But that will be up to the listeners.
Yep.
Shame. 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 Shame.
And I didn't even mention that one girl in like episode 3, one of the other players, and her ridiculously huge blonde villainess curls.
Yes. Okay. I'm so glad you like real quickly talking about her. What a look. What a look.
Insane.
Everyone else has something unique, usually hair. I feel like hair was the way to like differentiate between them. But it's like a ponytail or a cute bob. Her hair
It's
to the butt.
huge.
It is, and it's huge. It's voluminous.
Yes, very much so. All right, so that was Shiba Yugi. Next up is something on my list. In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. Yes, this is another romance between a girl who is known as the prince of their school because she is a little bit androgynous looking and very much in personality-wise, she's very princely, like very chivalrous, very serious, I guess, but in ways that is kind of like a shoujo prince. That would be Takiguchi Yoi. So there's her, and then there's an upperclassman known as Ichimura Kohaku, who is also kind of called a prince, but partially because he's very handsome and very, I guess, womanizing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
is it also because his family is rich, or like do the people not know that? Because they
No,
talk
I
about
think
him
they
being
know
rich,
it.
but they also talk about him like keeping it a secret. Like they have like a whole fake house that is not a mansion.
I think everyone knows he's rich, but it's the where does he live? No one really knows. Like it's yeah. And I think he's supposed to be foreign rich. Do you know what I mean? Like I think they
Got it.
mentioned like his like dad does something either in a different country or maybe it's a rumor that's going around. Either way, very fitting. I wrote in here like the girl is supposed to be like princely in that like Yuri style. So like she has a bunch of girls who confess to her. Like that tends to be and she doesn't identify as a lesbian. She's like, I don't want this. And he is very shoujo type. He is very I think womanizer is a very good word for him.
Yeah. But they have like a little meet cute where he throws her to the ground. More bumps into her. And he suddenly is just taken with her looks in a way that is kind of creepy. Kind of like, I just want to look at you. I just want to see your facial expressions. And that is the number one thing. And that rubs her the wrong way. It's like, is there nothing else that you really care about me? You just want to see me how I react to things? But he is taken with her. And she is very not taken with him, at least initially, because he's a bit of an ass. But through some situations, she decides to take him up on an offer to go out. But his offer was kind of like a joke. And she was like, I'm going to call his bluff and say, yeah, let's just go out. And then she realized like, oh my God, no, why did I even say that? So she draws up a contract and basically says, we can go out on a month basis, but there will be no touching. There will be no talks of romance at school. There will be, like, it's basically not a dating situation, but we're just going to call it dating. So I'm like, girl, you are just a terrible person to date.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but,
think you nailed that. But there was something that really bothered you about this prince, and I think you need to share with the class.
Well, I mean, he's a creep. So she because they walked in the rain for 5 minutes, of course, she is going to get the worst illness known to man. Back at school the next day.
She's never sick. Never sick. And suddenly she's so sick.
I mean, the rain really kills you. So she goes to the nurse's office, and he's there for some reason. We don't actually know why he's there. The nurse is out, of course, because they never work in these shows. They're never there, except for that creepy doctor in Hanakimi. And so she is
amazing.
So he
no
tells her,
notes.
You don't have to mute your laughter because everybody else, nobody believes I'm
loud,
actually that
though. I
funny.
know it's so loud, but it's really funny.
So he says, just lie down. And then he climbs into bed with her. And then he pats her head and goes, there, like, and I'm like, oh my God, this is creepy. They've only met yesterday, and she tolerates him at this point. And so I'm thinking to myself, this is so weird. But yeah, so they start dating, but kind of secretly, and she's just really trying to experiment, kind of, but it's just, yeah. I also want to talk about Yaoi because I don't think that she looks like a boy. I think she wears a boy's haircut and is kind of tall, because otherwise her eyes are filled with sparkles and
make flowers appear.
And with long lashes and a very slender frame. You look like a girl. You just have a boy haircut. And you dress like a boy when you are not wearing a skirt for class.
I feel like that's very Yuri style, though. Like, I've never thought that the prince in a Yuri style, like manga or in the Yuri genre, I've never thought that they look like a boy. They just usually have a boy haircut. And to your point, they do dress in like masculine clothing outside of school.
Yeah.
They wear pants.
But the whole, like, her being annoyed, or now indifferent, but she's kind of annoyed that she is seen as, like, this princely person, when all she has to do is just grow out her hair and she will look like any other girl in this show.
Fair. And I feel, if anything, I just feel bad for her because she's like, I'm annoyed that people see me as such. I'm like, yeah, that would be annoying that, like, you have a bunch of girls confessing to you and it's like, can I not just have a short haircut? Like, that's, to your point, that's truly what makes her the princely appearance, is her short hair.
I will say that the random roses popping out whenever she
love it,
just to highlight whatever she's doing, it looks like a distressed shoujo protagonist, and it's so funny. Like, that is one thing that I really liked about this show was the roses, especially because, like, Kohaku is, I don't like his character design.
You do not.
No.
That is the number one thing, is you didn't like that he was a creep.
Well,
crawling into
that
bed.
was number one. Number two is that, I don't know, it's the beauty mark and the white hair and the jewel green eyes. It's just too much.
Yeah. And see, that's like my shtick. I'm a fan of a Shiro boy. So that didn't bother me. I am a fan of the Swan Princess. I say fan. Like, when I was a kid, it's like a 1994 cartoon. And one of my favorite lines is when he's like, you're so the prince in this says to the Swan Princess character, you're so beautiful. And she goes, what else is there? And he's like, what else would I say? Like, what else is there?
Oh my gosh,
and
I know
she,
what
like,
you're talking about. At first I wasn't sure because I thought you were going to talk about some sort of Shiro character. I'm like, okay, I don't know a Shiro character in the Swan Princess, so she must be talking about something else. No, but, like, what else is there?
Is there? And that is exactly what happens early on. So that's not a spoiler in this, is like, she's trying to suss him out and he's like, I like how you look, and that's interesting. And what I will say that is good about him is he has pointed out to people when they're like, I don't know, is she a little masculine looking? And he's like, if she were a boy, I'd date her. And it's like, I guess good for you. Like, way to not let the gender get in the way. But at the same time, to Caroline's points, he's obsessed with her looks, just wants to look at her. And he wants to get to know her because she's different than all of the girls. Like, she calls him out on his bullshit, which I love. But, like, I need a little more growth from him because it is weird that he is just crawling into bed with her. He talks about sex at one point during the contract talk pretty openly of like, oh, what about sex and kissing? Like, where are we at with that? I'm like, well, I guess address it, but that's what's clearly on your mind right now.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to continue the show. Like, I don't know. Because again, it's fun to talk about.
It is.
But
I'll probably continue it.
Yeah?
Personally.
All
Yeah,
right.
because like I want to see him grow as a character. I think I'm continuing it for her though. I actually really love her as a main character. I like her sass. I like her trying to figure out what love is and coming back to him and stuff. I like a Shiro boy, so we'll see. However, all of your criticisms are extremely valid. And so that's the only thing is I'm wondering how many red flags I'm about to pull out of my hat.
Oh, I watched an anime called a condition called Love that came out I think a year or two ago. That is the biggest red flag romance I've ever seen. So this does not even clear that. This does not clear what a condition called Love did. So I don't know. It's all a matter of there are too many things to watch this season that I don't know if I can continue. But that being said, I think we're in agreement that we're going to fail this.
I agree. We're failing this one.
All right. Next up is my second pick. You and I are polar opposites. So here's the thing about this one. It's actually a very funny story because I was going down my list of things to watch for this episode, and this was like one of the last ones that I had to watch. And I was like, you and I are polar opposites. I pull it up on Mal, and I'm like, this got picked? Who picked this? And I realized it was me. Because it ended up being like my number two on my list somehow. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm reading the synopsis, and it sounds like a dime a dozen rom-com, not great anime. I'm like, how on earth did this end up at the top of my list? So I'm going to read it to you. Next to Miyu Suzuki, a trendy and bubbly high school girl, sits a boy named Tani, a quiet and frank boy. Their interactions are brief, limited to Suzuki's unprompted random questions and Tani's succinct answers, yet beneath these simple exchanges, feelings of love are quietly blossoming. So they're opposites, polar opposites, you might say. And
good job, Caroline. I'm proud of you for that one.
And yet there's a little crush going on. And I'm thinking to myself, this sounds like every other little seasonal rom-com show I have ever seen. And I'm wondering, like, how did this end up on the top of my list? I think what had happened was I, like, you know, as I'm going through the seasonal shows, I reorder them as I go. And I think I might have put it there for as like at the very beginning as a placeholder and meant to move it down more. And then it's just I forgot to and it just stayed up there. So I was like, frick, no. And so
I'm laughing because it was so funny to me. She like messages me, who picked this? I just wait for her to check those. She's like, oh, I picked this.
I know.
So funny.
And to make matters worse, I unfairly shat on this. Because I start watching the first episode. At first, I'm still thinking to myself, oh no, because the main character is giving me Hime Toga, what's her name? From My Hero Academia. Himiko Toga. I got the name mixed up.
Himiko Toga.
She's giving
Toga.
Himiko Toga vibes. Her face is so, especially when she's trying to practice her smile. I'm like, it's giving, am I cute? Hime Toga. Yeah.
And she talks very fast, which Toga kind of also does.
And
that's
she
an
has
excellent
the
comparison.
Double snaggletooth. Everything is going in the wrong direction from the start. And she has like bright pink bubblegum hair and these sailor uniforms, like bright green ties. And I'm like, what is this? And then it gets going. And I'm like, actually, this is one of the cutest little shows ever. Because, yeah, he's like the standard black-haired protagonist, kind of bland-looking, no personality, as it seems. And she's like, super energetic.
Over the top.
Over the
Yeah.
top. But it just, you can see that they're kind of on the same wavelength, despite the fact that they are polar opposites throughout the few episodes I've seen of the show. And to kind of crown this show, there's a confession in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
And they go on a date, their first date in the second episode. And it is common class knowledge that they are dating in the third episode. And so all of these little moments of, the miscommunications and the standard, wishy-washiness of teenage romances that are so prevalent in anime, it's so annoying to watch, are so quickly rectified in every episode that you actually are just watching two teenagers date and be so gushy over each other.
And so Connie would be annoying to me, except he himself, they offer some introspect for him of like, oh, like I do like her, and like, what does it mean to like someone? And the reason why we had the cat question is he's like exploring like this conundrum he's having because basically I feel like we can say his girlfriend is like, oh, I really like this actor. I like the bad boys and whatnot. And he's like, well, that's not who I am. Like, do I need to change my personality? And she's trying to explain to him, like, no, like, it's just, you can like more than one thing. And I just thought that was so wholesome of like, okay, he's trying to figure it out. They're having miscommunications, but it feels actually relatively real. And it was surprisingly wholesome. I did laugh. Caroline was like, why did you give it such a low score in our little secret chart that we have? And I said, oh my God, that was because in episode 1, I listened to the dub. And when the voice actress for her in the dub chills out and calms down, she's phenomenal. She's great. She is nailing the lines. When she is being her ramped up hyper self, she is using all of the current lingo, which is a little off-putting.
Like, what's she saying?
And she definitely says, like vibes. I don't think she uses fire. Luckily, she doesn't use 6-7. I need to remember all of it. I'll like write it down for you. And I say that because I think it's important to maybe talk about that, because eventually anime needs to transform and change and take on current dialogue, even in America. But it's just, there were a few lines where I was like, oh, this is a little painful. And so that was my only real negative, because I liked all of the other voice acting. And to your point, I loved the confession in the beginning. That's so nice. And I loved the hand holding in the beginning. Like, that was so refreshing to like have them move forward.
No, because there are moments where they are just completely like really, really nervous about, some developments of a relationship, but it's not to the point where you are frustrated with them, because you really are just watching these two kids figure out their first romance. Because, of course, there is a summer festival, and they're watching fireworks, and I think she drops her cell phone and they both go down and get it. And now they're really in close quarters, and they both like, because they didn't realize like their faces are basically almost kissing each other kind of thing. And so they both shy away. But then we see Suzuki in her little inner monologue, and she's saying, oh my God, we could have kissed in that moment. And then she'd be like, wait a minute, that wouldn't have been so bad. Because I'm like, and she's like, I'm kind of bummed this actually didn't work out. So it's like an initial embarrassment, but not to the point where it's like just too annoying to deal with because it just feels so natural. And then they have like cute animations when especially when it's on Suzuki's perspective, which it mostly is from her perspective.
Yes.
Whenever something romantic happens, or she feels embarrassed, or she feels just so overwhelming with this crush that she has, and the animation changes to kind of reflect that, or her being, and or like if she gets so embarrassed that her little figure, her chibi figure, is glowing red hot to the point where it's going to burn the blankets in her bed. This is it just really is so wholesome, and it just really kind of it just hits the bullseye of teenage romance.
Yeah, and this is giving. I'm trying to think of the other anime I'm thinking of, because I think that the way that they're setting up even the friends relationships amongst each
Yeah.
other, I think there might be some other pairing offs, and I'm excited to see it
It's
because
giving Horimiya.
that's it. Thank you. It's giving Horimiya, and I love that. I don't need everyone to be paired off. Don't get me wrong. Like we don't need a perfect picture, but like she has a friend who keeps dating the bad boys and is like, why can't I be happy? And it's like, well, because you're not dating somebody who's respecting you. And I would love to see that turnaround. And in the same vein, he has a friend who's like, ooh, a titch incelly, a little bit, gives a little
Is
incel.
that Tyra,
And
like the guy who works at
yeah,
the convenience store?
I think so. It's the one who's like, girls don't like me.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
how did Tani get a relationship before me? That's so crazy. But then he looks inward and is like, oh my gosh, I've been trying to change myself instead of just being myself like he's doing. And I think this one might be not just a very fun romance, but like a good one for the audience, like the teenage audience to see, because I think it's important to see, oh yeah, like relationships go beyond the hand holding. And like, I love that like relationships are something that your friends know about. That's great.
Yeah, and like the whole cast or the characters they're really fun. Like this one kid, Yamada, he has the blonde hair. He's just such a dum-dum. But it's like a cute dum-dum that is so funny
Yeah,
to
like
watch.
a golden retriever. Like
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
cute little golden retriever.
So it's just a joy to watch for me. And I am glad that I kind of accidentally put this at the top of my list because despite the outrageous color scheme sometimes, the animation is pretty good for what it is. And like all the different little ways that they show emotions in this show. The main couple actually adorable, like when they kind of have those same wavelengths despite being very different people. The ensemble cast, the opening is so good.
Opening's actually good.
It has a lot of visual illusion type themes going on that are actually very well done. It's just altogether a surprise for me that I accidentally picked. So therefore, if with your permission, I would like to pass this show.
I'm on board. Let's pass it.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
All right. Okay, so last one for today. I believe this was Mason's pick, which he's not around here for, but we will have to give it our best shot.
Yes.
Love Through a Prism.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, I'll take it just because I had to do some quick looking. So this was an original animation. It was a series that was created by Yoko Kamino, who was the author of Boys Over Flowers, produced by Wit Studios. It's all on Netflix, and they dumped it all. I'm a little disappointed. I think this one is better suited for episode weekly, and you can binge it. It's a very interesting concept. It's set in the early 1900s London, around 1913. This one has a little bit of the dub issue of everyone has fake British accents if you listen to the dub.
No.
So just maybe stick to the sub for this one. I got over it relatively quickly because the acting is really great. I just wish they hadn't decided to do the fake British accents because it's pretty startling, especially when you have a Japanese person coming to England. So what it is it's a Japanese girl coming over to St. Thomas Art Academy. She's going to learn oil painting, and she has 6 months to make it to the top of her class, or she must return home and become the, what is it? I think her parents make kimonos. So she would lead the kimono business and essentially likely marry a nice Japanese boy and settle down. So she is just trying to change her life in this regard. And you get a very good insight into London during this time frame. You get to see her explore things like riding a bike and
which she masters pretty quickly, I must say.
She does, but it was nice because you think about it and you're like, oh yeah, this is before World War I. Bikes haven't likely made it over to Japan yet and been like a huge mode of transportation, so it's all very new to her. And of course, going through this, she meets her rival, maybe love interest Kit, and also friends along the way, like Dorothy, and I think Peter is another one. And you really get beautiful, really stunning art pieces that I thoroughly enjoyed. All of the attention to detail with that.
Yeah. And kind of like, I was thinking to myself watching this anime, like, how do you portray like beautiful pieces of art if you are not an artist yourself? Like, obviously, animators and people who work in anime, they are artists, but not in this way, not in oil paintings or things of this type. So how do they do it? I was thinking to myself. Like, do they find an artist to make these pieces for the anime? I wondered.
I wonder if they lean on the manga, because recently Raggedy and I did a recording that'll be coming up here, I think in March, about female mangaka, and a lot of female mangaka go into oil painting before they delve into manga. So I wonder if they like leaned into that, like had the mangaka do some oil paintings, or to your point, if they hired it out to somebody else, which is why I think this would be something that would be an interesting discussion to have. I think there's enough here for anyone who's watching it to sink their teeth into. You could look at it from the art angle, you could look at it from the story angle, you could look at it from the historical. Yeah.
Though at times I
really
wonder,
liked
like,
it.
Is it really all that historically accurate? No, I'm like pushing up my glasses. It's just an anime, so I probably should not really be, harping on this too much. But I kept on thinking to myself, yeah, the fact that Dorothy, her friend, keeps on making references to samurai and ninja and shuriken, and which was kind of funny when they put like the little echoes behind it. It was funny. But I really would have expected a little bit more racism here. Because that was all for like the joke, but I'm thinking to myself, in the early 1900s, a Japanese woman traveling to England probably is going to face a lot more racism than the show kind of shows.
I'm in agreement, and they are very, very open with her, which I think allows for the story to blossom, which is good. But I do think that could have been an interesting plot point to get over. Do you know what I mean? Like to prove herself with. And they chose not to explore that area. So,
and then on top of it, the the art school they go to, they mention it quite a few times that this is an incredible place where nobility and commoners gather, and there's no like difference between them, men, women, poor and rich, la 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 la. I'm like, that place did not exist. There's no way this place existed. I mean, I could be wrong, but it doesn't. It feels like they're kind of shooing away any reason to be serious about what it was like in the early 1900s compared to now.
Yeah. Yep. I think they'll get more into some of that. I don't know how far did you get, just so I can make sure, because I don't want to spoil anything for you.
I got 3 episodes, and I'll be honest, I wasn't really feeling it. Like the first couple episodes, I didn't really like Kit. I think he's an ass. He calls her a horse. Like, who does that? And you can say that like, oh, he's just not socially
No.
very good. And I'm like, no, you don't call people a horse.
There's
Yeah.
more to it, but I get it. Yeah.
Somebody in the chat says, well, it was France, but it's still a long shot. No, it's London. French, you know, it wasn't, unfortunately. Oh, I see your little puppy.
Oh, do you? Yep.
Yeah.
There's Lulu. Lulu making a show. Oh, and then she's gone. Okay.
Yeah, so it was just all right. Like, I think the main character is fine. Kit, I don't really like all that much. I like the scenery. I think it's very pretty looking. And I will say episode 3 saved it a little bit for me. I think episode 3 was better than the first two. You know, especially going on a trip through the fields of the outskirts of London, and very pretty scenery. Having a little bit more of decent conversations with Kit, and her showing him Japanese art and teaching him how to hold a brush, you know, accurately, and seeing a different type of art from the Western style, I think was very pleasant.
Yeah, and there will be more to his background. I feel like we've gotten pretty much Lily's background, but there are more characters that'll come in and, you know, complicate things, which I think will be really, really good for if you continue to watch it for the plot of this that you're looking for, especially if you're not a fan of Kit.
Does he get better?
He I think his personality remains the same, but I think by giving him some background and stuff, he does get better because you understand like why he calls her a horse, for example.
Really? There's a backstory to that? He said
there's a backstory to that.
I'm gonna guess. Okay. I said that because I really love my horse and her gracefulness. It reminds me of you, not your horse face per se. Is that did I hit the nail on the head?
I can't. Do you want me to actually tell you?
Well, how is it going to take a while to get to that point?
No, it won't. But you are not far off in your estimation.
Good. Yeah, I mean, it's an all right show for me. It just it was just all right. But I know that you're hedging your hopes on this one.
Yes, I still would like to pass this one, and I know that's crazy to say over Freyrin, especially because Love Through Prism is 20 episodes, Freyrin is 10, so we could probably like dig a lot more into Freyrin, but I'd like to roll the dice. I'd like for our podcast to explore Love Through a Prism. Maybe the ending won't be worth it, maybe it will be, but I think there's enough here that you could have a lot of fun with the review.
All right. And I think we'll have to pass it then.
Yay!
Yes! Now this is going to be a good story.
And with that, we have certainly... At first I was thinking like, wow, this is going to be a really short episode. But then somehow we just gave mini reviews to everything on our impressions list. And
we did.
Yeah, we really made up for time there. So next week, what is going to be happening?
Next week, from what I was seeing, it is my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the hero. That'll be with Mitz and Andrew and Detective Otaku.
All right, very nice. We are getting back into our full-on reviews. I'm not sure what they'll be talking about next week other than that, but I hope you look forward to it. And with that, I hope everybody has a nice day. Maybe tune in for Heated Rivalry Hobby Addicts. Hopefully Andrew can join us for that, but we'll have to see. And other than that, just have a good day, everybody.
Look for the listener impression, what you want to pick. Vote when that comes out.
Oh, right. I should have teased that a little bit more. Yeah, we'll be asking for your inputs. You'll get 3 votes, and so I would recommend getting onto our Discord. You'll be the first to know. All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Have a good day.
Bye.